latest edition of the SAU Softball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head softball coach Jason Anderson. And Coach, we're at the point of the year where we're preparing for the conference tournament. It's an exciting time of the year, I think, for any of the teams that qualify for the conference tournament. Of course, in the GAC, top 8 teams make it, and so there are a few that are left out each year now that the league has expanded to 10 and be 11 next year. So obviously an accomplishment first and foremost for getting back to the conference tournament, but I think do you have the mindset that now the slate is essentially wiped clean? I mean, you take away the regular season, obviously the goal there is to try to, better your standing as good as you can to get, whatever seed you get, but then once you get to the tournament, kind of all hands are.
Yes, absolutely, and that's it. I told the girls after we beat our last series, and we went on the road and won 2 out of 3, and so we were able to win the final series of the year, and then basically for every team that's still playing come Monday, which was a couple days yesterday, it's a clean slate. It all starts over now nationwide, not just us, for everybody. I mean, all the conferences are starting their conference tournaments, and it's a new season. And you have preseason, conference, and then postseason, and we're in the postseason phase. We're happy to be there. I had a lot of things as far as injuries and a lot of other stuff go on this year. It's been a pretty tough year for that, but the girls have battled through, persevered, did what it took to get in, and now we're going to see if we can go up there and be a tough matchup for somebody.
Last week was really a grueling week if you look at it for the final week of the regular season because of some weather issues. The second to last weekend got pushed back to Sunday, Monday, so it leaked into this past week. You still had a scheduled road doubleheader at Texas A&M Commerce. You go and play that, and then you continue to stay on the road and go to Southwestern and deal with a little bit of rain, having a game suspended. And so, even a week just filled with stuff. What were some of the highlights that you saw out of the week? It
was an overall. Obviously, you want to concentrate on conference. We won our last 2 series. We were able to take 3 from Southern Naz, and then out of 4, and then we take 2 out of 3 on the road at Southwestern. Tough environment, tough place to play as far as conditions and weather and things like you said. Went midweek and played a real tough Texas A&M Commerce and hit the ball really, really well. They have an all-turf field, so some defensive plays. It was a wet. We had a rain delay there, a lightning delay. I think we started about 2 hours late, and the surface was still a little wet, so some balls skipped early on some plays that I think we normally would have made that just wasn't quite used to the surface. But overall, offensively, we hit the ball well, and we were in both games there against a good team out of the Lone Star Conference, who's also going to made a conference tournament. And even though they're a first-year program, they've done a really from a standings, from a facility standpoint and everything, just really nice place. So I think that prepared us for the week. But overall, really good week. Won both conference series, and I think that gives us a little momentum going into the tournament.
Going into the tournament, you go in as the number 8 seed, so you'll be taking on top-seeded Henderson State. They, into the final weekend, were playing for the conference championship. They did what they needed to do against Southeastern Oklahoma to take the regular season. The matchup between SAU and Henderson, only were able to get in 2 games, again, because of the weather that's been crazy throughout this spring season, but it was a split. So obviously there were some good things and some things may have to be cleaned up. Is there anything you can take away from that series, only playing them twice?
Well, yeah, you can. Obviously, we saw both their pitchers, they saw our pitchers, and we know that the one game, the game 1, I believe we won 7-1 or something like that, but we kind of handled the whole game and then turned around in game 2, and they kind of did the same thing. They beat us 6-2. So I think at this point in the year, obviously, we know that we can play with anybody in the conference. Like I said before, we've had some things go on from an injury standpoint and just a bunch of other contributing factors that have been a tough year for us that we've been able to persevere through, and we're still playing in the postseason. There's a lot of teams right now that aren't playing. Their season is over for all practical purposes. So we're glad to be there in this conference. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. I think it's very balanced top to bottom, especially the teams that made the conference tournament. I think we see that very much. So I think seedings are a good thing, but we got to beat everybody when we get there anyway. I don't care if you're the 1 or the 8 or why they did this or why we got this seed or whatever. It's all done, and we want to play everybody there. We're going to have to play everybody there if we want to win the tournament like our plan is. So I like our chances against anyone when we're playing well. When we hit the ball like we have been this last week, and if we can get solid defense and pitching with the offensive numbers we've been putting up, we're going to be a real tough matchup for anybody, no matter what the seed is.
Conference tournaments played up in Bentonville. It has been the past few years, but also early on in the year, all the teams, at least in Arkansas and stuff in the Great American Conference, have been able to go play in the UAM Invitational. It's hosted up there, the 8-State Classic. And so, is that something that looking back on it, you're really glad you went up there to play, have that kind of experience? Because you're getting the games in on where the championship is going to be held.
I think so. A little familiarity, if you will, like you've been there before. And we actually, this year, early in the year, played a really good Missouri Western team and beat them pretty, had a real good game. I think we beat them 12-1 and actually run roll victory. So I think the success that we had there this year, I think we can hopefully feed off that. And then we got several returners on this team from the conference champions from a year ago, and they won the conference tournament there on that field. So I think bringing that back with the returners and that mindset, like we said before, it's a new season. Everybody's 0-0 right now, and we're all going in trying to win this thing. So
appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head softball coach Jason Anderson. He and his Lady Mule Riders set to travel up to Bentonville, Arkansas for the 2015 Great American Conference Tournament. Their first game will be upcoming this Thursday, 2 o'clock against number 1 seed Henderson State. Coach, best of luck.
all right, thank you.